This is Grayman Media content.
I'm Jessica.
I'm Devin.
We founded a media company to help promote local artists and goof off with our friends.
It's not always easy running all these shows, but we decided to add another to our list.
This is The Other Show. So we're playing this game, Call of the Sea.
Oh my god. The Gungans.
The Gungans. Tarantino.
Poor
Tarantino.
Plank.
Phil.
Yeah.
Phil kind of got left out of that a little bit.
It's this puzzle game, right? It's on Game Pass, and
That's a beautiful game.
it is very pretty, yeah. I'm thoroughly enjoying watching you play it. I'm also enjoying watching you get frustrated at the puzzles.
There are some puzzles. The first two levels make kind of sense. Then you got to the next one. It makes sense. I'm just an idiot and didn't figure it out and was doing it wrong. That was on me. Chapter 4, though, I call shenanigans. That puzzle makes when you know how to get through that last puzzle. It was chapter 4, right? The one with the spinning things with the North Star or whatever.
Yeah.
Makes no sense. I had to watch somebody do it, and he was the only person that explained it to you, and he did. And as he's explaining this, I started looking at the notes that I had from the game. How would I have figured this out myself? There's no way to figure that out yourself without trial and error. That's the only way, and not even just trial and error. You have to hope you got it right.
Yeah, didn't he also say that?
It's so stupid. Yes.
Yeah, he said that there's no rhyme or reason.
He said most people brute force it or just get lucky. And as I'm doing, I'm like, it makes sense. Because the way he's describing how the freaking puzzle works is not how the game says it should work. The way you and me were trying to do it would have made sense, but it's not the way it worked. And it made me so mad.
I don't know, man. I mean, we were definitely pulling at a thread, but ultimately that thread was leading to nowhere because
I would never been able to guess that's the way that circle was supposed to move.
It doesn't make any sense. If you guys want to see the gameplay, it should be on Grayman Gaming. It's probably not. I don't know when this comes out, but
if it's not there, it'll be there soon, and you'll see us struggle with this. Because the way that circle worked, remember where you have the star at the top, and then you push the button and it turns in circle, whatnot.
Right.
The way we thought, all right, it's got the 1, 2, 3, 4. You spin it, and then it does this and that. No, the entire circle changes.
Yeah.
It doesn't change where the other little star is. But the whole thing in the book says the star does move.
Yeah.
So it just completely backwards its own thing.
Well, and the other thing that was frustrating also was that the guy who you followed so that we could finally finish this puzzle, he actually had one less clue than us.
Yes, that
Remember,
too.
We had a whole extra bit in the journal, and it seemed that one piece led us to the thread that we were pulling at. Mm-hmm. And it seems like the creators went in and attempted to make the puzzle easier, and in fact they made it even more difficult by adding something that made no sense.
Yes, because again,
even though the puzzle in the beginning didn't make any damn sense.
Yeah, after following, he didn't have that clue, and that clue is if you read it, that should be how the puzzle works. No, if you don't listen to the clue, eventually you might be able to figure it out. But at the same time, no.
I'm so scared.
Maybe I haven't played puzzle games enough, enough of them to know. Maybe that's a normal, puzzle style, a puzzle style in games. Mm-hmm. But I've never seen it.
I don't know.
And it was so frustrating.
I mean, I played more video games than you, but I don't play a whole lot of puzzle games, and I have no idea. I've never seen anything like that. Puzzle games in general tend to frustrate me. I know you enjoy them.
I do.
But
even when they frustrate me, just being able to figure it out is it just makes you so happy. You're
it's satisfying up until you play games like Call of the Sea, where there's this puzzle that doesn't make any sense. Or like The Witness, which also had, solutions to problems that didn't make any sense. And also there was a bunch of them, if I remember correctly, in The Witness, there was a bunch of them that were math and algebra related.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. When you got to that later end, most people, when they had to go through that, they had to look it up.
Yeah.
Because it got so difficult, or they didn't explain it at all, and you just had to figure it out. The earlier parts of The Witness were really good. Really good puzzles. Fantastic. But then once you got to the end, I had to brute force it, or I had to look it up every single time. Not one of the puzzles made sense after that.
One of the first games the first game that I ever played on Xbox One, I almost said the new console, but that was years ago. On Xbox One, it was Numa. It was a free game.
Beautiful game too.
Yeah, and it was a lot of fun. And all of the main puzzles made sense. It was all the ones that were like through multiple levels that you had to like do this certain thing, and that makes this picture on the wall change on this other level that actually happened earlier in the game, so you have to leave that level and go. I don't know how people were to figure that out. I have no idea, and if we didn't look it up, there's no way we would have 100% that game.
Yeah, you kind of got to get lucky on some of those. That's why I love puzzle games, because they can be a lot of fun. But then sometimes you hit one specific type of puzzle, and it's like either maybe it just doesn't make sense to you, or like to me, maybe there's just sometimes it doesn't. But there's a lot of times I've seen in puzzle games I've played that they just don't explain it enough, or they need to put a couple more hints in there somewhere of how, like, what you should be looking for, what string to start pulling at.
Well, and the other thing about puzzle games, there's a certain genre of ones that I really like. Watching you play The Witness, I could tell that wasn't my type of puzzle game. There's no narrative. You're literally dropped into a sandbox world. I mean, there's like some like small little tidbits.
There was some kind of narrative, but you lose it once the puzzle gets so hard, it becomes unplayable.
And it doesn't even matter from everything that I've seen, and I've watched multiple people talk about this game. It's like very, very small little bits of a story that's really kind of incomplete, and you never really.
There's no conclusion.
Yeah, you basically just dropped into a sandbox to figure out puzzles, which cool, whatever. But the ones I really like are the ones with narrative. That way you're kind of like the puzzles are you're playing the game for the story. The puzzles are
the path to get there.
Yeah, exactly. And in Numa, the narrative was that you're like you just kind of spring into existence, and it turns out you're a god. And so through solving the puzzles, you're like, becoming more and more aware of your
higher powerness, whatever.
Yeah, whatever it is you want to say. And in Call of the Sea, even though it's kind of wild and all over the place, there's very much a narrative, and I would argue, even though it is all over the place and it's kind of far-fetched and stuff, it does all the puzzles. Like in Numa, it was like kind of sometimes the puzzles were like, okay, you're just giving me a puzzle to solve. This doesn't really make sense with the story. Yeah. Everything in Call of the Sea,
it all works super well.
Yeah, all the puzzles are designed around the story.
Some of them are difficult, but if you like the way they introduce each one into it, yes, it's really cool.
Which is ultimately what makes it even more, frustrating when you do hit that puzzle that you can't figure out, because it's like, not only is this a puzzle that I can't figure out, which
you can't go any further.
Yeah, you also can't progress the story because the story that the cutscene and stuff that happened, from what I can remember, after we solved that puzzle that we couldn't figure out. The story keeps going, so the puzzle was still built within the story. You just couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm trying to think of any other puzzle games we played. I mean, I guess there was some of them. What was the one where A Way Out? That was...
Oh, yeah, I guess that one was kind of a puzzle game.
At least in the beginning. And I think
Yeah, then it kind of turned to like an adventure game more than anything.
And in my opinion, that game... was a lot less fun once you got out of the prison, which is unfortunate because the prison was like the first 2 hours of the game.
Yes, because the first little bit of like, all right, you watch out, we're gonna go do this, we gotta dig through a wall here, and then once you get out, it's like run through here, go find something in this house. Eventually, you like find his daughter, and like, okay, you can go play basketball now, or throw darts for like the rest of the game. I think you did one of those.
And the story was really cool, but like I don't know. Like, especially towards the end, like where it kind of turns into like a third person like cover shooter.
Yeah, basically.
And at first I was kind of like, oh, this is kind of neat, but the gameplay wasn't very good. The enemies were like, I mean, I don't even think we died once. Like, it was not challenging at all.
If they could redo that game, just take that first part and make that a 5-hour game of just trying to escape. Like, there's different levels of the prison. You got to get out each one. That would be a cool game. I'm assuming there's probably one out there somewhere, but the way they did do the beginning of that was really good.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And like the teamwork you had to use there was the way that game should have ran.
Yeah. Couch co-op is always something that I get really excited about whenever new
games. It's so rare.
It is, yeah. So when new games are doing it, So I'm excited to play this other one that we're about to play. And then I guess 12 Minutes was a puzzle game, but it was like, I don't know. I don't really think that it was. That was more just unlocking dialogue. I mean, there was a puzzle to it, but it was really just figuring out the combination of dialogue to hit.
Yeah, you gotta hit the right one. At the beginning, it was a cool little puzzle game, like, oh, figured this out. But yeah, once you got, again, it's one of those games that at the beginning it's really good, and it just by the end, I get like you kind of needed it for the story, but at the same time, like hide something else somewhere, like make something else just randomly spawn somewhere after this happens, and like now it's a different type of puzzle game.
And it might have just been because I'm dumb and like it took me forever to figure out some stuff that should have been, looking back, should have been fairly obvious. And so it might have been just the fact that I just did loops over and over and over again. That kind of killed it. But like,
yeah, repetitiveness.
Yeah, because like I feel like if I was just better at puzzle games in general, and I could have got through that game in the amount of time that they say it's supposed to take you, I probably wouldn't have been so dead with it.
Puzzle games are fun. Yeah. You just got to find the one that you like and you're willing to suffer through.
For our anniversary, I bought us AJR tickets. Which, I'm a much bigger fan of AJR than you are.
I'm still a big fan of them, especially after seeing them live. Holy crap.
Yeah, well, let's be honest. Before seeing them live, not as big of a fan.
Yeah, that's fair. But they're still really good. Like if you were listening to their music, like they're very, very talented.
Yeah.
And their music videos, I love watching those just because not all artists direct their own, but basically they do direct it because they're paying for it. And they write, direct it all, and it's really cool to see that kind of creativity come out of people. And you definitely saw that in their live performance. That was fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was, it's called The Click, I think it's their first studio album. I don't want to be quoted on that because, again, I'm not, OK Orchestra.
It's a solid album.
Every song, minus The Trick. It's the only one I'm just like, and it's not like it's bad. It's just like, there's got to be a worse song on the album, right? And for me, it's that one. Like every album, it doesn't matter if the album is I'm a huge stan of Eminem. That's where that name came from, by the way. I don't know if a lot of new people know that. In fact, I know they don't.
No, they don't. And it's funny to watch it happen.
I had to explain it to somebody one time, and I was like, are you really? What? You don't know? That's the name of the song. But like, there's a bad, even me, I'm a huge M fan. Outside of Revival, again, everybody's got an album that you don't like, but I think everyone can agree Revival's the worst one.
Is that one after Recovery, right?
It's, yeah.
The one that nobody likes, basically.
I'm sure there's some people. But
I actually have not listened to that one, I don't think, at all.
But my point is like, even on Recovery, Seduction, I like it. It's a really good song, and it's one of my favorite Eminem songs. It's the worst one on that album. It just is. It just is. It's a great song. It's just the worst one on that album. What my point is that no matter how good an album is, there has to be worst song.
Yeah.
There's always a best song. There's always a worst song. There's everything in between.
And everyone's worst song. Okay, actually, on average, usually there's one song that for some reason everybody can agree on that this is just not the best one on the album.
I don't know.
But in general, everyone does have their least favorite because, like, as you're listening to
it's
like
just
this
an
one,
opinion.
Yeah, this one, when you're listening to the album, like, this is the song that just, it doesn't click with me, so it's not my song right now.
We're trying to defend our position here. It's just I almost cussed again. It's just an opinion.
That's fair, yeah.
It's just an opinion. In my opinion, which I'm allowed to have, The Trick is my least favorite on the album.
What's your favorite song off that album?
Oh, OK Overture is probably my favorite. Yeah. It's not the best standalone. It's just because it
puts them all together.
It's
all
of them.
It puts them all together.
So I don't know. I like to sing it. To sing it. It's so you don't. It's not exhausting because it's going through so many different melodies and whatnot. Yeah. But no, probably way less sad. I mean, that one really hits.
Yeah. That's a good song.
Hits me right in the feels. But the way that
Humpty Dumpty's pretty good too.
I love Humpty Dumpty.
It's a good song.
Yeah, I love it.
I love their what is that? Their honorable way of doing Humpty Dumpty without having to spend the time to like
I wanted them to do it.
I know, but I do love the way they did it for that concert, like with having their trumpet player do all that, and then at the end, like they honorized this by making that the big one that they threw out there. I love it.
Well, and what I was saying about this is gonna go. This one's gonna go long because I got a lot to say about this. All right. what I was saying about the song was that it is my least favorite song, but they mixed it when they did the live performance. They mixed it with my absolute favorite song from Neo Theater, which was Dear Winter. That is my absolute favorite song from that album. And so they mixed it, and instead of doing the break in between the verses and chorus for Dear Winter, which is kind of like...
It's just a guitar, basically, right?
Yeah. Instead, they switched that for the kind of in-between part for...
The trick.
Yeah. Thank you. and it worked really well, and I wish that there was an MP3 version of that, like, studio quality, because it was... I would listen to that one 100 times.
You might be able to find one on YouTube somewhere.
Possibly. But yeah, they did really good.
They're definitely, like, they're so good. They're performers.
Oh, yeah.
And what I liked about that song, they took the time. He ran off stage to dress just like his music video. And I thought that was so funny, but so cool at the same time. He didn't have to. That was the only song he wore that shirt for. Was that like red, like shirt, the same thing he did? Only song he wore that for. I thought that was kind of cool. They were doing the set the scene mood.
What was your favorite, maybe not their song or the performance, but what was like your favorite like set design that they had for...
Oh, they did such a good job.
Yeah, I know, right?
Definitely what was the opening song again? The one where he's walking. What was that one?
No, the opening song was Bummerland. They did Bummerland first. You're thinking of the second song that they did.
Yeah, where he was like walking in the background. That set with the 3D of him walking back there with a whole bunch of hymns that he was doing the hat.
Yeah.
What song was that? Dang it. I don't remember what song.
Hold
we
on.
have it on video somewhere. Devin,
Hold
input.
on. Obviously. It's the one that goes...
Redacted.
I love that they did open up with that, because they're just like, we're throwing this out here right
That
now.
wasn't the song they opened with.
Well, that's how they ended the song, because they combined both of them. The lights did not go out till after they said that.
I don't think you're right about that.
The lights did not go out till after they said that.
I have it on video.
Yeah, the lights didn't go out till after, because I thought that was such a cool way to open up their show, because they were just like, we're going for it. We're just going to go for it.
No.
But that set was really cool.
No, I know that they did because I watched the videos, and when I was filming it, it goes from darkness to him screaming, "What's up, Louisville?" See, before they even addressed the audience, they did Bummerland after the big face. The lights went dark for a split second. They came back up. He said, "What's up, Louisville?" And then they started the song you're talking about. It was the second.
Okay.
It was the second song of the set. None of this matters.
That one was really cool, and I liked the one where, what song is it? Was it called "So Cool" or "Joe"? Is that what it's called?
Joe.
Is that what it's called? I like the setup they did for that one. Is that it's because it's called Joe? Something like that. You know what song I'm talking about?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just called Joe. I've listened to this album at least like 100 times. I can't remember the name of the song.
But like them setting up like the classroom real quick, like having all those people out there.
Yeah, I know, but it wasn't
cool setup.
I did like this. I did like the set. I agree with you, but I didn't like. I wanted to hear the regular version of the song. They did like a almost like kind of tribal acoustic kind of version of the song, which was neat. But I really like the version.
He went back in time.
Version of the song.
That's what they said.
I know. Okay, let's.
That and also them doing their magic tricks. That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool.
My absolute favorite.
How do you think he jumped from one side of the stage to the other?
Are you kidding me?
They definitely didn't have a double.
Yeah, It was great. It was awesome. It's very easy to figure out, but it looked cool. Okay?
It did. It looked really cool.
But my favorite, there was a lot of ones where they didn't really do any kind of set design. They just did like colors and stuff.
Yeah.
Which is fine. It still looked great. It still looked awesome. My favorite one of those was when they did I'm Weak. The colors and the way that the lights hit the audience and stuff, and that was really cool. My absolute favorite was when they did Ordinary-ish People. And
yeah, that one was interesting.
And then when they had like I don't know the names of the guys. They had the drums and they were bouncing around the blue.
The young brother and the old brother.
Yeah. Those guys. You're watching it now if you're watching the video version
but
of
this. Like with them like going with the background, which was really cool. And then they made it look so real. They did amazing job.
And then when the music came back in and all the colors just exploded on the stage, it was gorgeous. Yeah. It was so pretty. But yeah, no, the walking one was really cool. Yeah.
Really good 3D effect with that. Like however they made that work. Fantastic. Big fan.
Yeah.
Want to see more.
We can't wait to see what you do next. See what I did there? That's another song off their other album. What would you say is your favorite song on the album?
On their new album?
No, on their old album.
On their first album, I couldn't tell you. My issue is I don't know which songs were on which albums that I know from them.
It's okay. It's not like you just saw them in concert.
I know. Well, like I like a lot of their music. I don't think I have a favorite. Like I have songs I don't like.
We spent
but
like
I have.
Yeah, we spent like 6 minutes explaining how we are.
Songs I don't like, but I don't think I really have a favorite. Bang is really, really good. Sober Up's a good one too.
Sober Up's
you
great.
Like that?
Yeah. Did they do that one?
Yes, they
did.
They
did that one. Yeah.
That was the one with the rain in the background. We're looking all wet.
Yeah, that was another thing when they like towards the end of was it the absolute end?
Yeah, with the water. I have that one on my phone.
Yeah.
Fantastic 3D effect. I've showed so many people that, and they're like, "How did they do that?" I'm like, "I don't know, but I want to see it again." It was great.
Yeah, it's really cool. They are a great performer. Let's talk about the opening acts.
Should we though? That's kind of mean.
No, I think it's just. I don't think that we're gonna say anything wrong.
I mean, I didn't see the Aces basically at all.
We'll get there. We were at the Louisville Palace.
Yes. By the way, guys, we were at the
Louisville Palace.
Beautiful place.
We had great seats. And I mean, it was an expensive night out, but I mean, all in all, as far as concerts go, it wasn't that expensive.
So we're at the Louisville Palace.
And we'll put some pictures here, probably maybe, and and it's a seated venue.
Yes.
Right. So we got there real early. That way we can make sure, we could get to our seats in a timely manner and blah, blah, blah.
Be good stewards.
We were trying to be good concert goers. So Daisy the Great, who did Record Player with AJR.
Along with what was the other songs?
Oh, no, you can't ask me that question.
I think Diamond Tears is one of the new ones they sang. Because that's another thing is, like, these, Daisy the Great were their new artists. They went on tour with AJR and they have a song with them.
Yeah.
From what they told us, I haven't listened to all their music, but they said everything they were playing was from an unreleased album.
Songs. Yeah.
Except for, like, their most popular. I'm like, if you're going on a big tour for the first time, shouldn't you play all the songs that are out that people kind of would know you by?
Yeah.
Evidently, no. They played all their... Like, I get playing some new ones, but evidently they played most of their set.
Yeah.
Was unreleased songs.
You could tell...
Which was interesting.
You could tell that they were traveling with a band, right? Because they didn't get to use the LEDs and the screens and stuff. All they got to do was have their name up.
Yeah. I think they used a little bit of lighting right at that last song, but that was it.
Well, yeah, they used, like, the spotlights and stuff, but they didn't have the whole set to their disposal.
They didn't have money out yet for that.
Right.
Their guitar or their bassist did not care.
Well, and they also didn't. They also clearly
crazy.
didn't have the money to hire like a light director to do that. Because if you're touring with a band, right? Like,
I've never understood why lighting directors don't do it for all artists on it.
Because AJR is almost certainly paying for their own light director.
I mean, yeah, but like I don't know.
They've definitely got enough going on.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
Yeah.
I want to see, like, I wouldn't mind seeing Days of the Great in like 5 years. Give them, because they have the energy. You could see all of them have the energy to do a good show. They just haven't had the experience or the money to do what they like could do. Yeah. I wouldn't mind seeing like probably in video form, them perform in like 5 years and see what happens.
Yeah. They did fine. You can just tell they're new. They're newer. I don't think that they have, like you said, I don't think they have the experience. And also, I'm not a fan of their music in general in the first place, so that doesn't help. So I wasn't their audience, basically. Mm-hmm. It's also unfortunate that, they're kind of unknown, and AJR, while not being a huge band, is a much larger band, and it's not like a festival where like people are just going to see bands because they're just huge fans of music. Yeah, everybody that was there,
they were going to see AJR.
Everybody was pretty much there to see AJR, which fine, whatever. But anyway, I thought they did fine. Nothing to write home about. The Aces. Now the reason I brought up that we were
Aces,
the Louisville
guys.
Here's what I'll say about the Aces. From what I heard, sounded pretty good.
From what I could tell, bassist was just chilling. She was having a good time, but that's all I could see.
Anything. As I mentioned, the Louisville Palace is a seated venue. And look, I get it. You're there to have fun, and you know a lot of people are younger than us. We're kind of
They might have been 4 or 5 drinks in.
we're also that's another thing to say is that we're sober. So you know, okay, whatever. That being said,
These 2 girls in front of us stood up, and the whole time the Aces were on stage, like Devin said, they sounded pretty good. Neither of us really got to see the show.
there was just 2 branches of an oak tree kind of waving in front of our faces. They're very small individuals.
The very small little bit I saw, I still say it gave me Michael Jackson vibes. Whatever the main chick from the Aces was wearing, just the way her hair was cut, the jacket she was wearing, and just like, I don't know, maybe it was just me. I was getting some weird vibes of that, which was weird. Because then you heard her voice, and it was like melodic, and I'm like, huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
Not what I expected.
I think that they put. I would even go as far as to say that I will eventually look up some of their music and
I wouldn't mind.
give it a shot. You know?
Their music part sounded really good.
Yeah. Don't know about their set. Have no idea what it
We have no
like.
idea what now.
They performed fairly well from what I heard. Listen, here's the thing, right? Like, there were multiple times where they turned around and they definitely noticed. And there's no way that
they didn't care.
They didn't care at all. And like,
mind it also, the people in front of them and in front of that and in front of that and in front of that, all sitting down. It's not like they needed to look up either.
Again, they were dancing the majority of the time. They were not dancing with the music. You could tell they've never heard this music ever. And again, they were drinking, so fine, whatever. But like,
that's not true. When I did hear this part, when the Aces lead singer is like, "This is for anyone who has a crappy ex," and then they're like, "That's me."
Yeah, and so did the people sitting next to me.
That's the funniest
And I'm just
thing
sitting there like,
in my life, I was dying inside. It took everything to not have to leave for a second and come back. It was so funny.
that's really jarring because it's like for somebody who's been in a fairly successful relationship for the last decade, and then hearing everybody around you go, "Yeah, fuck him," and I'm just sitting there like, "Love you, babe."
I was dying. All these girls were losing their shit over this, and I'm like, and then again, like you said, weren't dancing to the music. They had never heard this song before.
Well, and that's my whole point.
Song played
I keep getting away from it. That's my whole point. Is like they weren't even there to see them. They didn't know the music, and they were standing in our freaking way. Not that I cared, because again, just like everyone else, we were there to see AJR, but I would have liked to have seen something other than bed sheet, because that's what she was wearing.
A bed sheet.
Okay, I was upset. It's fine. It's not a big deal. Whatever. It was clear that we were old. It's fine. Whatever. I had a good time. I had a great time.
I'm still having a good time from it.
I had a great time. Liquid Death was there.
There was Liquid Death everywhere. I think they halfway sponsored the concert at that point.
I told you about that. They have a competition for that, for Live Nation, which is the people who own the venue. So, yeah, they did great. AJR did phenomenal. Like you said,
all the opening acts did really good job.
They did
like
fine.
We've seen worse. Like I feel like what we heard from the Aces, but even what we saw from like Daisy the Great, they were still a little better than what we saw back when we saw Red in concert.
Yeah.
They were still really good.
That's another whole beast, because like there was a band there that like when they performed, it was like, wow, these guys are awesome. Then you go and listen to their music, it's like, this is not awesome.
No, it was so bad.
It's not awesome at all.
Yeah,
they were way better live than they were.
I don't even remember what was the name.
I don't know.
We As Human.
Well, just dox them then.
I don't even know if they're still making music.
I don't know. Who cares?
Yeah, Daisy the Great, the Aces, AJR, they all did a fantastic job.
They did great. I highly recommend, if you know they're still touring by the time this episode comes out and you can get tickets. You won't be able to, but you know, try.
But in a few years, when somebody does eventually see this and AJR tours again, go see them. You're probably going to get a really good show out of it.
They did.
It'd be really cool.
Really good. They did, you know, and I've been following the tour very closely because, you know, you were surprised by their performance. I was surprised. I'm not going to say like I was expecting it or anything. I didn't really know what to expect. But after seeing Imagine Dragons, I assumed that the performance was going to not be like, obviously Imagine Dragons was playing in a much bigger venue. They probably had way more money and whatnot to put on a performance and a set, whatnot. So there was something more grand about Imagine Dragons, but I knew what a more, mainstream type band
concert looks like now.
Yeah. So
yeah,
I
this
kind
is
of
the
knew.
first concert I've been to in 7 years.
Yeah, and most
like
of the concerts you went to weren't like, they didn't have the funds that mainstream bands do. I mean,
That's not true.
Skrillex
I saw Skillet on Winter Jam, which Skillet's like one of the biggest like Christian artists. And on Winter Jam, they did it down at the Fair Center and the Expo Center or whatever.
I was there.
Not the year I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
But like they put on a really good show. A lot of pyro, a lot of really cool lighting. But I've never seen what somebody can do in a small venue, because the only small venue I saw was Red, and they took pyro out and just spray painted the wall. Kind of sad, because I was coming to see pyro.
They played good. I mean,
yeah, they did.
It was fun. It was a fun concert. It just wasn't a show.
Yeah, I liked seeing a show. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I went into AJR and I was kind of excited about it because I was hoping that they would put on a really good performance. Again, I've been following the tour very closely. I didn't know what it was going to look like, but I knew the level at which they were coming at, and I knew that it was not anything that you had seen yet before. Again, I would say a lot of the elements from AJR was even more impressive than some of the stuff I saw from Imagine Dragons, because Imagine Dragons was more like, again, a spectacle, big and stuff.
Yeah. They didn't have the 3D pool, did they?
Well, no, because you wouldn't have been able to recreate that in a Yum Center.
Yeah, no, not without having like 3D all around in a box.
Yeah, you wouldn't have been able to do it.
Get too expensive.
You wouldn't have been able to do it. So I think, like, I don't know. This may have been one of the best performances I've ever seen. I mean, it definitely is one of, but I haven't seen that many.
Yeah, it was the best one I've ever seen.
They were
the only thing that tops that is when I used to see pyro out in the Expo Center. But
I mean, pyro's cool, but it wasn't. I mean, it's just fire. I know you're a pyromaniac.
I'm a pyromaniac. Well, I've seen that. I've also seen drums like spin on their sides. I've seen singers swing through the roof, which is kind of cool.
That's kind of cool.
I've seen them raise a thing freaking like 200 feet in the air.
I don't think anybody does shows like AJR does.
No,
like, they did.
Well, I think people are slowly, because artists are realizing it's not about just going and playing. Like it used, you used to be like, I just wanted to go see them, buy merch, and like say hi to them. Now it's like, no, you need to put on a show. You need to make a music video come to life on stage.
Yeah.
Otherwise, no one's gonna really enjoy it. They could have just sat home for that. People want a spectacle now. They want that.
Because they combine, and again, I knew this going in because, they were talking about it on social media, but like, they kind of combine like a comedy show with magic with, a concert.
They give you all of it in one.
Yeah, it was good stuff.
It was really good. I'm very happy, and I cannot wait to see where they are in 5 years.
5 years.
Can you imagine seeing them do something in a Yum Center? Oh, man.
Probably less.
You think it'd be less cool? If they say they had the
cool.
Say how they had the funds. Do you think
if they're playing at Yum Center, they have the funds.
Yeah. Can you imagine seeing what they could do with that much room?
You can't. Have you been in the Yum Center?
No.
You cannot. You could not. You could not do what they did at the Yum Center. You can do very neat, cool stuff, but like, especially like up in the nosebleeds and stuff, you're not going to be able to make out the details and stuff of what AJR did in that smaller venue. You wouldn't have been able to do it.
Yeah, I could see that.
It'd still be very interesting. I would love to. One of the concerts we got to do before we're old and decrepit. We got to do a like one of the big names at like the Yum Center. Like we got to go see
The Weeknd at the Yum Center,
or
petition for it now,
or like or like an Imagine Dragons. One of these really bigger bands. You got to see it. It's a different beast.
One day, I do want to see it. It'd be a lot of fun.
I tried to get you to go to that tour.
Did you?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
After I went with Austin, I came back and I was like, yeah, we gotta, because I think they were playing up in Indy, and I was like, we should get tickets.
Yeah, you wanted to drive to it. Yeah, and I said no.
Yeah, we should have done.
I was like, if they do it in Louisville, that's fine.
They're not gonna come back to. What is that? You don't make any sense.
Whenever an artist comes to Louisville, it's kind of surprising. Normally they hit up Lexington, Cincinnati, and Indianapolis. They usually avoid Louisville. And I don't know if it's because some kind of insurance or tax reason, but for some reason they usually hit up Lexington, Cincinnati, or Indianapolis.
I think they might have been doing Lexington.
Or there might be bigger. I think you can get bigger venues there too for some of the bigger artists. I think that's another reason they usually skip over Louisville.
There's no way the Rupp Center is bigger than Yum. I've been to both.
Well, they might have a bigger venue somewhere in that city. I don't know. I just know people go to Lexington before they go to Kentucky to perform 90% of the
I think
time.
you're thinking of the years before Yum Center was built.
I don't know. It's been a while.
Anyway,
Check back next week.
this is a long episode. This isn't how long the show will normally be.
Oh, absolutely not.
This is just we had
We had a good time.
we spent a lot of money on this.
Keep listening. Eventually, we'll go to another concert and we'll fill your ear with it.
Yeah.
Until then, have a good day. Drink water. Bye. Hey, if you enjoyed listening to that episode, you can find more. Just go to graymanmediaco.com and you find all things The Other Show.